Here's a series of questions that kind of all go together. The basic question is, what will we look like in heaven? What age will we be in heaven? And here's the topper: will we have clothes on in heaven?
Okay, well, heaven has, as it's depicted in Scripture, it talks about people wearing white robes. And the main thing is not that the robes, that's what they wore in that culture.
Hmm.
So it would be like, especially, and white meaning clean. And so that's not the surprising part. If you live in a culture where the normal dress is jeans and a sweatshirt or something like that, you might wear jeans and a sweatshirt. I don't know. In other words, it's not a formula that everybody must wear white clothes. They are clothes. So I would say, in all likelihood, then we would be clothed. Will we look like we look like here? Recognizable? I would say absolutely. And a lot of people misunderstand the gospel accounts related to Jesus because they say, well, the disciples didn't even recognize him. No, there's just two passages that give that impression. One is when Mary's at the tomb and it's dark and it's just early in the morning, and in that culture, it was immodest for women to look into the eyes of men or the faces of men that they didn't know. So they would look down, and so Mary sees there's somebody there and thinks it's probably the gardener. She certainly wouldn't think it would be Jesus. He's in the tomb, right? So then it says so she didn't recognize him as the gardener. Well, then he says Mary, and at that moment, hearing his voice, she looks up and it's Jesus, and she knows it's Jesus. So don't use that as, oh, well, Jesus didn't even look like Jesus. No. And then the other one is the Emmaus Road, where they didn't recognize him as Jesus, but the text specifically says they were kept from recognizing him. So, so again, did the disciples, when they're out in the boat and they see, who is that over on the shore? He was fixing breakfast. And they go, I think that's Jesus. And so they dive in, and it's the resurrected Jesus. So yeah, and he's in the room, and Thomas recognizes him, and they recognized him earlier, and all of that. So there's every reason to believe that we will look like what we look like. We will be recognized. Now, how old will we be? Which was the other question. Well, I think we don't know for sure. St. Thomas Aquinas, who wrote his big theology, said we will all be 33 years old because that's the age that Jesus was when he died. Well, maybe, but the point is, we will probably look like we were at our peaks, but I would say anyone with disabilities would not have those disabilities.
Hmm.
Our bodies will be perfected. So it doesn't mean if you were overweight on earth, you'll be overweight in heaven. If you were skinny on earth, you'll be skinny in heaven. But I think that is all speculation, but I think it's pretty reasonable.
No, that's great.